Hello.
Welcome to The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX. This is going to be an entrance and item randomizer. In commentary, it's me, Cravone, and joining me is Phantom Matt.
Hello.
So, we have a four-way race today between Dragon CO, Geocob, Sagas 14, and Spice Father, aka Space Otter.
No, it's Spice Father. And we also have an impassioned plea by our runners saying, Zorlax, please come back and play LADX, and also Seabass. They are some of the veteran runners of the game, and we haven't heard from them since. If you guys see them, please let them know that we still care.
Well, I mean, Zorlax did recently just randomly post a world record.
We haven't seen them in weeks. Please let them know we still care. This randomizer was made by, I believe, Saver in the chat?
Crystal Saver, yes. He's in the chat. So, he might be able to answer a lot of randomizer-related questions.
But, since he is in the chat, we are watching chat as well. And if you guys have any questions, post them there. I'm keeping an eye on it. Cravone is keeping an eye on it, and we'll be able to help you out as best as we can.
So, I think we're still waiting for them to get ready. We'll explain what this randomizes. So, all of the entrances in the overworld are all shuffled. The rooms in dungeons are not shuffled. Then there's every single chest and heart piece is shuffled in the game.
Except for the ones that contain keys, right?
Except for keys, yes, small keys in dungeons. Those are the only ones not changed. Now, each dungeon always has a nightmare key, a compass, a map, and a stone beak. It looks like we started.
Yep. You forgot the most important part. Music
The
and
timer.
color palettes are swapped as well.
Oh yeah, the music and timer power swapped.
So our runners will always get the shield at the beginning of the game because you need that for certain things. And looks like we're starting to May Village. Actually, very close to the beach.
Oh, okay. So Spice is taking a very early lead because all the other runners have gone to the beach to see what sprite the sword has replaced. Spice, meanwhile, has taken the gamble and gone up and found it.
If you don't know Link's Awakening, you don't start the game with the sword. You are required to go down to the beach where our runners were, and you're supposed to go find it. Until then, you can't really progress anywhere in the game in order to, go save the island, air quotes.
We have seen Siege before where we've had a late sword, though.
I think what's the record? 40 minutes?
Yeah, in these flags, it's about...
Alright, I think now would be a good time to explain the difference between single and two-way exits, maybe?
Okay, so when we say everything's shuffled, there is some amount of logic to this, in that the entrances that are shuffled, the dead ends, which are like the one-way caves, the dungeons, etc., those are always going to be one-way entrances. The two-way entrances, or what we call the connector caves, are always going to be two-way entrances, but within that pool, they're all shuffled. So, Jacob finding Dungeon 7, same with Dragon.
Yeah.
Jacob, that's in the house.
Okay.
So, Dragon opting to go through Dungeon 7, Jacob not. It might be because Dungeon 7 is quite... it's quite difficult to get to chests this early on. But... Yeah. I'm guessing Dragon's maybe taking the gamble that there's going to be stuff in chests in Dungeon 7, while Jacob's decided to go to the forest.
Yeah. It looks like Spice has also found D7 and is currently walking through it. Hopefully they find something of value in there.
Ooh, Jacob finding the Birkin now. The worst entrance for anything to be in this game, any dungeon, is Vanilla D7. We see Spice finding the bracelet as well.
Oh, that's valuable. I don't know how long it's been since I've seen that screen of the drop-down pit in D7 on Dragon screen. When we do normal speedruns of this, we we ignore a majority of the mechanics in this dungeon and decide to do what are called bomb triggers in order to skip over many things.
So you'll notice that already people are going to be starting to use glitches. So we do actually have a glitch rule set in this randomizer. So they're not allowed to wrong warp or out of bounds, and these are a rule set that's involved in our speedruns. So yeah, if anyone wants further explanations on what those two things are, wrong warp and out of bounds, then ask in chat and we'll explain.
Other than that, if we see a bomb trigger, we'll explain what it does. Mainly what it does is it skips cutscenes, which is really nice. Or activates them, my bad.
Okay, so it looks like by the time 3 of them have exited Dungeon 7, they'll have the bracelet. Now, Jacob has taken the different route here. He's found Dungeon 5, which I believe that was in the Witch's Hut. Now, this could be a play that wins him the seed, or it could be a play that loses him the seed. The bracelet is a very powerful item.
Because a ton of the locations are actually locked behind picking up objects that are in the way, such as the Dream Shrine in my village, being able to get to the swamp, right?
Okay, so Jacob has had to back out of Dungeon 5. He's got all of the chests that he can at the moment. He doesn't have bombs, which means he can't advance any further in Dungeon 5.
Right. So if you look at... No, go ahead.
So, what we'll see some of the other runners do, and what we have seen, I think Dragon did, is that inside that house, there are 2 pots with bombs underneath. So, they'll be using those for bombs.
He also picked up some more bombs there in D7. Yeah, he doesn't have Feather yet, does he?
I don't think any of them have Feather yet.
Oh man. So let's see. Okay. So there's an example of something on Dragon's screen where you can clip into walls, and he just performed a bomb trigger. But you can clip into walls in order to get by certain objects, and you can push them from the side if you're clipped in as well. So it helps us out with like a chest in D8, this chest here in D7 if you need to get it.
Oh, that's the best chest. So, Dungeon 7 is the only dungeon in the game that we don't actually need the Nightmare Key if we're using glitches. But here it's useful because it opens up an extra chest at the back of the dungeon.
Yeah.
Now, I think we best explain bomb triggers. So, a bomb trigger which we see some of the runners doing to break down the pillars in Dungeon 7, which is still required in a rando. So this is done by placing bombs on alternate frames. Normally the game prevents you from doing this, but using pits or transitions, you can force that. So Jacob finally getting the bracelet.
We're gonna have to give him heckling for this.
So right now Spice is actually searching the overworld, whereas Dragon and Sagaz are both exploring Dungeon 7 even further. Now, the good thing with exploring a dungeon is that there's a lot of chests in dungeons, so there's a lot of potential items.
However, by that same token, you could just end up going down a rabbit hole, and you just never find anything.
Yeah. Right. We've got a question in chat about horse heads. So those are completely RNG. They're a 50-50 chance on whether each of them will stand up.
What's the record on horse heads again?
34th try horse heads.
Yeah, I wonder who holds that.
Yeah, that was me. But yeah, you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting it first time. Like, the only thing you can really do is just get them all grouped up so you can throw them quicker.
Alright. So we've got everybody moving out of Mabe Village now, finally.
So, something we've not mentioned yet that maybe should have mentioned at the start. So, in the randomizer, it would be very easy to softlock in this randomizer if it weren't for one feature that's in the randomizer, and that is the house wall. So, when Saver made this randomizer, he added in an extra function which would allow us to warp to the house at any point.
Basically, what you do is you open the map and you hold down Select and A. No, it's
Select and B.
Select and B.
So it's just like a save and quit, but instead of putting you at the start of the dungeon or the last entrance you went in, it puts you at the house. So Saga's the first to find the shop?
Yeah, he is. Because I don't think anybody else has been to Forest yet.
So that's actually a big deal, because to defeat Deathfall, they're gonna need either the bow, the ocarina, which if they use ocarina, that's a glitch, but is allowed, or the boomerang, which we had a practice seed earlier today where Saga's had to get the boomerang.
That was awful.
That was a funny scene.
And nobody's got time to get 980 rupees to go buy the bow or go through the entire trading sequence. So you could just steal it, or you can ocarina skip once you find the ocarina, if you find the ocarina. Actually. Now that I think about it, somebody else has been this way before, I think. I'm trying to remember, because I saw somebody else go to Witch's Hut, just like Sagas did.
Oh, yeah, it was Jacob. Okay, so Dungeon 5 is actually on the beach, and Spice found that.
Okay.
So yeah, they're all taking completely different routes, which is unsurprising in a randomizer.
Thanks, guys. Making this easy on us.
Like, as with any entrance randomizer, there is absolutely no set route. Like, if you want to take a chance, it will pay off, if it pays off. If not, I mean, you've just gone in an entrance, which is quite bad.
Also, don't forget, there are entrances that you could run into where you just don't remember the entrance exists, and you wind up going hours looking for it until you realize that it's right next to Face Shrine and it's behind that bombable wall.
Shout out to Matt. So Sagas is going to be digging up the Dungeon 3 key. Now, this key is always vanilla. It will open Dungeon 3, but obviously what's in Dungeon 3 is randomized, so it probably won't be Dungeon 3 itself. It might not even be a dungeon itself.
Yeah. But it is... it has the ability to be a dungeon, which is why he wants to pick up that key now. Because it really sucks if a dungeon is in a dungeon.
Yeah, like... We've seen time and time again, in most randos of this game, there's always one dungeon that's in a really, really bad place. Like, the worst place it could be is Vanilla Dungeon 7, because you have to find the correct entrance, you have to have bracelet, and you have to have the key.
Spice got boots, though. So,
I think
now...
at this point, Spice must be ahead. I wonder if there might be another item in this dungeon as well.
There could be. I mean, they didn't fully check the 5 until they had bombs.
Yeah.
In order to kill Master Salphos.
And Jacob wouldn't have wanted to double dip straight away.
Oh no! Don't, no!
Okay, so Spice is using momentum from bonks to try and get over this pit. It's extremely hard to do when you're doing it upwards. Because of the way pits work, it's much easier to do it when you're going sideways or down. But yeah, boots bonks aren't impossible, as we can see there.
It's like somebody has made a randomizer dungeon based entirely on this concept, and a majority of the community hates him for it. I wonder.
You mean a ROM hack?
I don't know.
You said randomizer.
All right, fine. You get this one. You're a terrible person, Carbon.
So that was not useful in the slightest to space.
Shame of a waste of time.
Yeah, that's like a good show of the kind of tech that's in this game.
There's a lot of neat stuff.
Expect out of Sagas though, because Sagas is renowned for sequence breaking during rando, and with sequence breaking in this, it can come back to bite you if it doesn't pay off. But even if it does pay off, it can cause you problems later on, because the seed's logic requires you to do certain things in a certain order. If you break that order, you might not be able to read what the seed is sort of telling you to do.
So it's sort of like you get an item in Link to the Past, and it directs you to another item. Like you get, I don't know, what's a good example? Shovel, which leads you to forest, which would lead you to a bow.
Now imagine if you sequence broke into forest and got the bow, but not a shovel.
I don't know, think about that.
Yeah, that's a problem with sequence breaking.
Oh, we've got Dragon checking the color dungeon entrance, which is something specific to Link's Awakening DX, the Game Boy Color remake, as opposed to the original on the regular Game Boy.
Okay, that was a useless entrance. That was the rooster.
Oh, and there's Flame Skip.
So Jacob is triple dipping Dungeon 5. You never want a triple dip dungeon.
They found the witch's hut on the beach.
I'm surprised you didn't get the powder.
Surprised they didn't get the mushroom.
Yeah, the mushroom is really, really nice for glitches, but the reason why I get Jacob doesn't like using the mushroom, but the powder or the mushroom is actually required to kill the blob in the final boss, unless you get lucky with a quick kill. And it is luck. You have to get good RNG for that to work. But there are other powder pickups later on in the game.
Yeah, like you could get the one in D2.
So
at least I think this one.
He's gonna check this one chest in the Ocarina Shrine.
Oh,
I bet it's the Ocarina.
God, would this even be randomized? Nope, it's rupees. Go back.
Sometimes Ocarina is vanilla.
Alright, so we've got Spice working his way through the forest. He's probably going to find the shop real quick here. Here's Saga's picking up his boots. And he's out of Dungeon 5 as fast as can be with those.
It's like he's got what he needed, now he's gone. You see, I think it can sometimes be a gamble. Getting an item and then immediately leave. Because there could be another item in.
Yeah, like I've done that and I've missed Feather in D4 after I got Power Bracelet.
Oh, Dragon's just used up his potion.
Oh no.
Now, okay, so a potion has a very niche use. It can actually allow you to complete Dungeon 3 without the feather quite easily.
Really?
Yep. Because the invincibility frames allows you enough time to charge a bonk off the wall to get up the ladder.
Oh, right, in the 2D section.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
The potion is also really good in
I did not catch where Saga's found D2, but he's found D2, and he can complete a bit of it. I'm betting this is where we're gonna find Feather, actually.
Well, he's got one. He's got one chance. It has to be in this first chest if it's going to be any. And he's not going to try and use boots and.
No, there are two
Mushroom,
chests that you
I
can
hope.
check right there, can't he? No, one of them is a key.
Oh, he's already opened one.
Okay.
Can he even check this one though? I don't think he can. Oh no, he can. He can bonk.
He's
Gonna
Alright.
bonk off.
So we just saw Saga's doing there something that most people don't know you can do. So if you place if you use bombs and arrows within like what, a frame of each other, then it shoots out a bomb arrow instead of just placing the bomb and shooting an arrow. Which, if you've played Twilight Princess, it's projectile bombs. You love
That
it.
not many people know how to do.
And yet we use it extensively to save time, because who wants to wait for bombs to go off when you could just shoot them at the wall at speed?
So, I'm thinking only Spice and Dragon are making any progress right now.
Yeah, oh
I mean-
look, raft game, the best part of the run.
Sometimes this is required. Like sometimes you have a key in there.
Hey, look, there's
There's
tail
a
key.
tail key. Wow.
That's
okay.
bad.
So, calling this being one where there's actually going to be like Dungeon 3 in Tower Dungeon.
We might also want to mention that the dungeon. There are certain dungeons. I think it's 1, 3, 4, and 7.
1, 3,
No,
4,
1, 3,
6,
4,
and 7.
6, 7.
who
They
require
actually
keys.
have keys in other places that you have to go find before you can open up the dungeon.
So, the Dungeon 3 key is always vanilla. Dungeon 1 is shuffled, usually in the overworld. Dungeon 7 key can be anywhere.
The majority of the time, you see it in the back of Dungeon 7, where it's completely useful.
Yep. So there's also an extra Dungeon 6 and Dungeon 4 key, in addition to their vanilla locations.
And you will always get a key from the Landmolus in
Landmola
the desert.
and the armors. So, Saga's, now he's starting the sequence breaks,
Oh god, here. it
using
comes.
Mushroom. Now, what he's doing
Ah!
here is really, really risky.
You don't want to do this in a casual run because you're gonna get lost really quick. So essentially, what the mushroom is doing there is it's allowing him to clip into the wall to avoid falling into the pit, right?
Yep.
And from there, he can continue bonking against the wall to jump further and further over until he gets solid ground. You use this a lot in tandem with the feather if you're doing the mushroom routing with that, especially in D1 where you can essentially skip using a key due to it.
It's actually extremely risky to do because it's very easy to soft lock with the mushroom. If you get your timing wrong with the save and quit menu by like 1 frame or something, you could soft lock.
Oh,
The
no,
thing for me-
dragon. No, go ahead.
If he does soft lock, I mean, there's save and quits quite often in this. So if he does soft lock, he won't lose too much time.
And we see Dragon up in the top left, activating the entrance to Turtle Rock, and he gets access to Telltale Heights. I really don't want to do that every single time. Because there's
So-
one certain way to get up to Telltale Heights every single time, and that's to go through the cave that has the rooster key. Or eagle key? Vanilla. And he winds up finding a painter for his troubles. But if
So-
you fall in the... No, go ahead.
He actually did a save and quit there so that he could reload once he's checked that one entrance.
Yeah, because he doesn't have flippers yet, which means
Nope.
he can't check Luigi's house, he can't check the vanilla entrance to the Rooster Skip Cave. Also, I must point out that in order to wake up the turtle for Turtle Rock, he performed my favorite part of this game, which is playing on his bomb flute. So, when you bomb trigger, you can, copy cutscenes and activate them. if you play the Ocarina songs in order to activate an event, it triggers that cutscene. So, for example, playing the Frog Song of Soul in order to activate the entrance to Turtle Rock. Or, I don't know, when you have all 8 instruments and you need to go up to the egg, you can play the Ballad of the Windfish on your bombs instead of your flutes. Wait, Heather?
I just want to mention that... Who got Feather?
I don't.
I just want to mention that Spice...
There's the feather. Dragon got the feather in D3.
So, in case Spice rewatches this back, I do want to mention that I did see him try and mess up the color dungeon pattern. Maybe he should have practiced more.
Oh. I mean, just like you should practice more on fish? Anyways, now that we have Feather on Dragon's side, he's gonna start moving really fast, because this game, and this particular game in the Oracle games, they do one very amazing thing, and that's that they allow you to jump, and it breaks. Oh. So, when we said you can clip into the walls, that allows you to perform a trick called super jumping, which is you basically clip into the wall, you push, and then you jump away from the wall at the height it would be if you jumped off a ledge. And it allows you to skip hits, blocks, a whole number of good things.
Spice is loving his bonk jumps here.
And I see Geocob about to take his feather for his troubles.
So, the feather is an extremely powerful item in this game as well, because it's virtually required in every single dungeon to complete the dungeon.
Virtually required. You can use the
I think
jump,
there's the
bonk
exception
jump to
of
get around
like Dungeon 5 doesn't need it. Yeah, you can use bong jumps to avoid it, but it saves so much time having the feather.
Yeah, in D5 vanilla, you should never need to switch to the feather.
So we see Spice is in Dungeon 1 now.
Huh. I wonder where he got that.
I still think Dragon and Jacob look like they're in the lead, and they like, we're seeing how they go through this dungeon. They're genuinely about maybe a minute apart here.
We will also point out that Pika Pals is mentioning that Dragon never got his boots from D5.
That would be why there's a difference there. Okay, so it's in Animal Village.
Meanwhile, Geocob can just hurry up and rush through this dungeon because he has both boots and feather in order to get to the back of it.
So Jacob had a very bad start of this run, but it's looking like he's in the lead now.
Yeah, he's coming back now that he has the ability to get his first instrument.
Yeah, he's got, like, with having basically the 3 most important items of the feather, the boots, and the bracelet.
The 3 main things that you need to access pretty much everything on the overworld. The only thing more that you could ask for is hook shot, but
yeah,
that's just
or
utility.
Well, yeah, the hook shot opens quite a bit up. The level 2 bracelet only opens 1 entrance, and the fire rod doesn't open anything. The fire rod is the fire rod is literally just there to kill 1 boss,
and it makes us cry.
So,
hey, wait, it's a magic rod, not a fire rod. Choose magic, please.
That's a meme in our community. It's not a fire rod, it's a magic rod. So, Spice doing Featherless D1, which I approve of.
Yeah, I wonder how he learned how to do that. You guys can't see it, but I'm giving Curvone a dirty look through my computer in the internet.
So...
and he fell
wow.
He fell at Moldorm. No, it's just magic, not magic fire. And we have both Sagas and Dragon heading towards Face Shrine. No, which one is that? Face Shrine?
That's almost nice.
Okay. I can never remember the name of the shrine at the end of this one.
So, in fact, we mentioned how Jacob was going towards his first instrument. Spice is actually the first one to collect an instrument.
'Cause,
20 minutes in.
you don't need Feather to complete the first dungeon of the game that gives you the Feather.
Yes, that's the funny thing. As long as you've got flippers, as long as you've got boots, which does require you to have feather for.
Air quotes requires. It's a randomizer.
Okay, so wow. Okay, so I see how Spice found Dungeon 1. He did quite a big sequence break there through Jesus jumping.
What is that? Is that a vanilla Armos Knight?
I hope Magic Rod is behind this. So, normally in the game there isn't an item behind the Armos Knight, but in Randomizer there is.
It might also be necessary to point out that the majority of the dungeons require you to have the item from that dungeon to beat the boss. Dungeon 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8 require you to have the item that's supposed to be in that dungeon in order to beat their boss.
Yep.
So it's not necessarily like you could cheekily walk in there and go, oh, I don't have the item, I need to do this. Let's just go and get this thing in anyways, because we don't need it to finish. No, there are times where you'll need that item in order to finish. Well, yeah, but we don't want to think about that.
I don't want to tackle the boss shuffle.
Oh, hey, look! You thought it was Moldorm, but it was me, Facade.
That'll be a headache.
And you have 5 bombs. Use them wisely.
Yeah, so I do want to give shout-outs to Saver. I mean, he's basically the only one that's worked on this round. He used the House Warp as an idea from Sprasta, but aside from that, he's basically developed this on his own, and I have to give massive credit to him. That it's fun and it works, and he's working on updates still.
The development never ends.
No. As gamers, we always want more from our developers.
Here's Sagas going in for his feather, but taking a death beforehand.
So, it's really hard to tell who's ahead between Sagas and Spice here.
Sagas and Spice. Spice doesn't even have his feather.
Yeah, but Spice has an instrument.
He does, so does
Oh
Jupiter.
wow, have you seen what Dragon's... Okay, so Dragon's doing a trick that we call Villa Skip. So, so the same thing as with the mushroom, but if you keep buffering whilst you're on a pit, eventually it's going to push you down, and when you're on a transition, it will actually allow you to transition downwards. So what he did there is he used that transition, and because there were solid blocks underneath him, it basically forced him to drop down to the bottom of that room.
This is very useful for getting the D3 key early without having to go to Canalit Castle and get all 5 of the golden feathers for Richard. Because nobody's got time for that. And that actually requires part of the trading sequence to get to, right? The bananas?
Yeah, you know what's funny yesterday? No, earlier today. We actually had the seed where, even with glitches, it was required to collect the feathers.
Ugh.
Because the shop was in dungeon. No, the shop was locked behind Richard, and you need the key for that.
I'm thankful I went and played something different. God.
Yeah, it was not a nice seed.
And it looks like Dragon's going to be able to clean up D2 really quick here.
Yeah, he's gonna full clear this.
And I do believe that Sagas will be doing the same with D3 coming up in a little bit.
I mean, there's quite a few dungeons they've not found yet.
We're still looking for that elusive D6.
Yeah, we've not seen D4, D6, or D8. And one of these could be in a really bad spot. So, like, really bad spots are kind of those entrances that are out on their own. So, it's like, with the prairie, for instance, there's entrances everywhere. So if you go in the prairie, you're checking entrance, another entrance, another entrance. If you go for Dungeon 7 or, like, Dungeon 1, there's nothing before that. So you're going several screens without any entrances. And that takes time, especially if it ends up being fruitless.
Yeah. Has anybody checked D1 yet?
No one's checked D1 yet, but I think 2 of them have keys, because 2 of them went through the rapids.
Yes.
The rapids might have actually been the vanilla, well, might have been the logic way to get to Animal Village, come to think of it. It might have been one of those seeds.
Oh, you're not gonna give flippers. You want those? Nah.
Yeah, that's we've seen that times before where you have to do the raft to get to Animal Village. And of course, Animal Village had Dungeon 3.
Yeah, we also see Sagas over there killing Vitreous in this game, isn't it?
So
the eyeballs.
Yeah, that's Victorious.
Really quickly, using something in this game called the Piece of Power, which is after every 26 enemies you kill, every 26 or 30.
So yeah, it's after every 30.
You get this drop called a Piece of Power, which increases your attack, gives you massive knockback when you hit something, and increases your speed. You really want that for a majority of things in this game, because who doesn't want to go faster and kill everything in like 1 or 2 hits?
Sagas with the hypers, any chest turns.
And down here, there is playing the bomb flute that we mentioned earlier, in order to wake up the walrus. So you normally need Marin?
Yeah. Now, this is a trick that we see in the normal speedrun, and it's very dangerous in the normal speedrun. It's extremely easy to softlock. However, we don't have Bow Wow, so for some reason that softlock doesn't happen. We don't know why Bow Wow triggers the softlock, but yeah, so you can easily do that with a bomb trigger, and it's completely safe.
Mention that Vanilla D3 is a phone booth, as it always is.
It always is, yes.
It looks like Geocop's heading back to the beach now. Likely to find D5 and hopefully clear it.
He's still not got... Wait, no, he does have his boots, doesn't he?
I believe he does. I think he's going in to look for hookshot now.
Yeah, he doesn't have a hookshot, so he can't clear it.
Well, he may open up a few other dungeons. Not dungeons, chests.
I don't think there's any chests that he didn't open, though.
No, there are the ones to the side.
He doesn't have flippers. The ones up here, no, he's not checked that one. Okay, so there are some that he didn't check.
And he gets bombs for his trouble.
It's funny, Dragon's in Dungeon 5 as well, but he doesn't have boots.
Well, I mean, he will in a few moments. And now with this, I believe, after Spice clears this boss, everyone will have completed D3, right?
No, because Dragon hasn't.
Right.
Dragon still needs the boots to complete it.
He'll be... Has he seen it? Otherwise, I have a feeling where he's going to be coming back to really quick.
Yeah, Dragon doesn't have the boots, but he has been in D3, obviously.
Also, if you want to see the regular way we speedrun this particular dungeon, D7 on Sagas' screen, now that he has the feather, I think he can just rush through it.
He's checked all the chests, I believe.
Because he knows that's a key. And I think the other one must be like the compass? No, he has the compass. He's missing the map, so
He's missing
he knows
the
where
map, so...
everything's at.
Now, here's the thing that some of the runners will use to try and work out if a chest is going to be useful. So, in their head, they rule out chests that have small keys. But then, there's 4 mandatory items in each dungeon. The Nightmare Key, the map, the compass, and the Stone Beak. Now, what Sagas can do here, because he doesn't have map, and there's only 1 chest left for him to open that isn't a small key, he knows there's no item that's going to be useful in that chest. He knows that is the map, because that's the only thing it can still be.
Oh, so we're going to see him try to go for Goomba Surf here.
Yeah, he's going for Goomba Surf. Now, this is using a weird super jump.
There it is.
Now, that is... I think Jacob described it earlier as the worst trick in the entire game.
I don't bother doing it.
I kind of agree, because it's very RNG. Difficult enough trick as it is, Sword Lasso.
And of course, who needs a fair fight with a bird when you just have bombs?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of timing to this fight, but they've had enough practice.
It's very rhythmic. Part of me wanted him to fall right there. Not gonna lie.
That's
Have him
harsh.
redo the fight.
That's harsh, but that would have been fun. That would have been straight in the Discord.
It's like, oh, look! And he's chucking bombs. Alright, so now that's 2 instruments for Sagas? We'll see once he does his next item switch. Yep, 2. He has D3 and D7 done. And... Oh, look, we have D4
Dragon's
finally.
Found Dungeon 4. Where did he find that?
I did not see because I was looking at literally everyone else's screen.
So, this is something that he knows where it is, and no one else does. No one else has found Dungeon 4 yet. And, although he's behind on instruments, behind Spice and Jacob, and I believe, yeah, he's behind Sagas even. So, Dragon's effectively losing on instruments right now, but he does know where that extra dungeon is. And if this has the hook shot or something like that, that's going to be very useful.
Very quick.
Yeah. Or even the flippers would actually be good as well.
Flippers would be the best thing, I think. Oh, and he's denied.
Wow, he just
by
got
the goal.
insta-killed.
He got
Wow.
base.
That was a snipe and a half by the Zol.
I trust somebody in our community clipped that.
Yeah, I'm hoping someone does. That was amazing, that Zol.
I see he waits until the Zol is safely out of the way. This time.
Now he's going to be Jesus jumping here, which... This is similar to Villa Skip, where if you pause in a particular frame, you'll be able to jump again.
So pretty much when you see the water splash up around Link, if you pause and then buffer a jump out of your pause, you'll be able to jump again. This is how we do something later on called Rooster Skip, which allows us to get the Rooster Key without needing to wake up the Rooster. And God, is it finicky in that.
So, trying to assess the order of the runners right now, I want to say Jacob and Sagas are leading. I don't know which of them are leading. Well, honestly, I want to say they're both leading at the moment.
I want to say Jacob is, but I need to see his menu screen before.
Yeah, I think Sagas has easier dungeons to finish.
And there's vanilla
So
flippers.
Dragon has found the flippers. Okay, I'm gonna put Dragon maybe in third place here. Although he's got less instruments than Spice, Dragon has a lot more items.
He has the utility now. He can access any room in the game. I think.
Except for those that require hookshot. But he has his ways. He will be able to access those rooms. He has the mushroom.
And now we're coming up to the best boss, Anglerfish. Say, how do you normally deal with Anglerfish? You
less said about Anglerfish. Less said about Anglerfish, the better.
I'm sorry. You know I had to get it.
I knew this was coming.
You opened yourself up to this.
I prepared myself.
Physically and mentally steeled yourself. And with that, we have Dragon getting his harp. And getting as far away from that evil fish that you can't really hit with aiming down.
You can't hit with a hookshot either. Also, even if you could hit, he's immune to hookshot. And boomerang.
Why would you need boomerang by the time you got to this point?
Trust me, I've tried it before. What is Saga's doing with these? He's throwing these pots and double hitting.
He doesn't care anymore, man. Huh. So apparently we're behind? Is what the chat's saying?
Yeah, it might be because I don't know if the audio's taken off Discord.
Gravone, you have a history with anglerfish. Please tell us more.
Yeah, I had a notoriously bad anglerfish
D8
before.
D8 is Luigi?
Okay, Dragon is really ahead at this point now. He's just missing Dungeon 6. Granted, he doesn't have more instruments than anyone else, but he has, I believe there's only 2 items left that he needs. That's the level 2 bracelet and the fire rod. Oh no, he needs a hookshot. I'm gonna try and refresh, see if we can eliminate some of this delay.
Alright, give me 1 second. I will do the same.
The delay will be because if our audio is taken off Discord, but we're actually seeing this as a delay anyway because the restream's taking these streams, and these streams are already delayed off that restream.
I will also point out that now that we have refreshed, Spice is in D8, which means he's found D4 and he's gotten his flippers.
Yeah, so we were actually quite far behind then.
Jesus. Technology.
So...
So, I think Spice actually might be competing against Dragon for the lead now.
You just can't tell. You can never tell with these randos. I mean, the lead in this one is changing left, right, and center.
Really, at this point, we won't know who's in the lead until somebody picks up their 8th instrument.
Yeah.
And is running as fast as they can to the egg, which is really one of the only unrandomized entrances in this game.
We might know who's ahead when they're go mode.
Yeah, if they would let us see it.
We have to be quick with their menus.
Yeah.
So, Dragon right now is only missing the level 2 bracelet, the hookshot fire rod. Don't know what... next time I see a Geocob... Okay, so Geocob's missing the same stuff plus flippers.
And it looks like Spice has the same loadout as Dragon.
Yep. Actually, Spice doesn't have... Go mode!
We will say
doesn't
now
have flippers.
that Sagus has actually won the race by finding the goat, which is the most important goal that we have in our community.
thought we were in agreement we were going to shout go mode, but then not explain.
Well,
We weren't
I
meant to
never
explain
heard
it.
I never heard this. You are lacking in communication with me, sir. And God, what's the name of this little devil fellow?
Jubal.
Jubal,
Oh,
I
you mean
thought-
on dragons?
Yeah, the literal devil,
It's a
not the thing
Vaya.
that's in D4.
It's a Vaya.
Yeah, those things are terrible.
Wait,
Please, I don't know what a cue
is-
ball is.
It looks like Spice is actually ahead of Dragon.
He is.
Although, does he have the flippers?
I would think he has to in order to get to this point. Because this is
He
behind
doesn't.
flippers.
He doesn't. He
doesn't?
doesn't have flippers.
Oh wow.
That's on this menu. He probably sequence broke. There is there
He
is
probably
so much
Jesus
sequence.
jumped up there.
Yeah, there's so much sequence breaking going on here.
See, and
So-
that's what you can miss in 40 seconds.
So now, what Spice just did there, going outside the dungeon, is actually very important because it now allows him to. Oh, he's gonna try this from this side. So he's gonna try and super jump to get to this chest. You can
But-
also do this coming off the ledge.
More about the reason why exiting D8 is important is because there's two entrances to D8 in this game, and the one in the back allows you to get a warp that takes you back to the back of D8, which is very important in Randomizer, because you can warp back here after you've found the magic rod elsewhere and finish the dungeon.
Also, if this is in quite a remote place that has other entrances, you can use it as an extra warp. As in, you take the warp, you go into Dungeon 8, you save and quit, put you at the start of Dungeon 8, then you go out. It's like a really, really easy warp.
And I believe on Dragon's screen we're going to be bringing Blano back.
As long as he doesn't skip, because that's not. Yeah, you can't skip Blano. It's unskippable.
We could consider what the part of the room that we have to jump to in order to skip this mini boss out of bounds, right?
Yeah, so that's part of our bounds rule say. You could do a super jump off that wall at the top of those stairs. So, okay. So the thing I was saying about Dungeon 8 effectively being a warp, in this case it actually would be usable as a warp. I'm not sure if any of the runners will do that. Okay, Dragon and Value
And
Cave. Wow, okay.
Dragon got the level
Bracelet
2.
in level 2 bracelet in Value Cave. And
Alright,
bomb.
and then he has bombs. Always a nice thing, bombs. Oh, look what's right here! Oh, gee, it's Eagle's Tower, Vanilla
Wow.
D7. I wonder if anything of value could
Im-
possibly be...
Imagine if Dungeon 6 is in here. This is the most remote location in the entire round.
Nope!
Oh,
It's
no.
not a meow meow!
Nothing in there.
The saddest day.
He's saving.
Sagas found
okay,
hookshot in D1.
I understand why he's saving.
That's very nice. Thank you for pointing that out, Firelight. So now we know where the hookshot is. If anyone decides to come back here, I don't think.
Did Jacob not pick it? No,
I don't think he-
Spice did not pick it up.
Ooh,
Spice is the one that completed Dungeon 1. He did not pick up that hookshot.
that's not good.
Wow, okay. That's really, really bad for Spice because he's gonna have marked off Dungeon 1 because he could have completed all of Dungeon 1. So he's gonna have marked it off. Which means he's not gonna realise that's a possible place that the hookshot could be.
That is a massive problem and may cost him the race, actually.
I think he's gonna lose as a result. Unless one of the other runners does something similar.
Or, I mean, they could all just hardlock the game.
So Jacob also has the hookshot.
Alright, so he's seen it. And here's that vanilla cave, rooster skip cave.
Yeah, it's just
The rocks in that previous room on Geocob's screen are added in to make it easier. Otherwise, you would have to use a combination of boots, feather, and hookshot in order to traverse that without the
without the rooster.
Thank you. My brain is leaving out these words.
Yeah, imagine there was an item in there and you had to get rooster, which means you'd have to find the rooster, you'd have to find the ocarina, you'd have to find frog song.
God no! Can we not bomb it?
So,
It
which
looks like-
chest was the hookshot in?
It was in Vanilla Master Cave for D1.
That might be why Spice didn't
Because
get.
he didn't have any access to it, unless he wanted to.
Actually, he had boots, and that's
he
what
had
he
boots.
did.
He could have bonked over.
He could have bonked over. That was his mistake. Now, this is another thing. Like, he's basically sequence broke Dungeon 1. And although he could have actually still checked that chest, I think sequence breaking D1 has sort of really cost him.
Yeah, because now he won't be able to find the hookshot. He won't be able to finish D5.
And he won't realise that he's left a chest in Dungeon 1.
That's the most important part, because he's not going to realize that is actually an option. Let's see. We have Geocob clearing out D8. I don't believe that he can.
So
He's in the same boat as everyone else. No one has Magic Rod yet, which is a shame. I'm willing to bet that Magic Rod is in D6.
Dragon's not picked up hookshot, has he?
I don't think he did.
Dragon, he's not picked up hookshot. I don't think.
No, that's Sagas that has hookshot.
I think Dragon's made exactly the same mistake as Space.
Guys,
Spice rather. Wow. Okay,
guys,
so
why?
Jacob could be in for. I mean, what's looking like it's turning into a free win here potentially.
No, because he still has to compete against Sagas.
True. How far has Sagas? Sagas actually ahead of, but I don't know how many items or locations he has. No one has found Dungeon 6 yet.
You
It could be vanilla.
Okay, here we have the worst entrance to the game, aside from D7. And he just walks by it. That's potentially bad. Spice Father has passed. Alright, so on the top of Cabbage Hill, as we call it, there is a rock that has a shrine. With Batman? I want to say his name is?
Mad Batter, he's called.
Mad Batter, okay. So if you pick up that rock down there and you go in, that's a one-way entrance. And I've had it where D6 was that entrance before. So
Yeah, I've seen that entrance be D6 quite a lot.
it's
Dragon-
terrible when it is.
Dragon doesn't have the key. No one's even checked Dungeon 1 yet, by the way.
Oh, that's gonna be funny when they get to it.
Dungeon
And we
1
see
could
Sagas sequence
Dungeon
breaking
6.
into the cave in the water. And he gets a frog for his troubles.
Yeah, we expected this from Sagas. Sagas is the one that's renowned for breaking everything.
He
Although-
actually redid the route for our any percent no save and quit, Warring Warp out of bounds category because of these Jesus jumps to get to D6 early.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
Sagas
special.
apparently has checked D1. And I will assume that it was nothing of value because it has not been mentioned since.
So, Spice finally finding Dungeon 2 for this time.
Well, at least it can clear it in one go, can't it?
Good job there's nothing in there. So, we usually name particular rooms and chests after particular people who found those rooms and chests. I'm not sure what we're going to call that Dungeon 1 one, because Spice and Dragon both missed it.
The not hookshot chest, probably.
The not hookshot chest. So Dragon opening D3 and getting a phone booth. I said that before I even saw it.
Of course.
Yep. Well, we already knew it was a phone booth from earlier.
So which one-way entrances haven't we checked? We see Dragon going to Signpost Maze, which has one.
So there's nothing in. We don't know about Vanilla D6. So Dragon second place goat mode.
Okay.
So
there is that cave at the top of Cabbage Hill.
there's also Dungeon 6. Cave. There's.
What else haven't we?
Has anyone checked? Someone has checked the desert.
Yes. Geocop is at the desert.
Those might be the last two entrances left to check.
I'm willing to bet that Spice just ran right past the entrance to D6 as well.
Has anyone checked Mr. Wright's house?
I have seen someone check the caves behind, down south of Turtle Rock, which means I will assume yes. But of course, we're still missing the fire rod. Not fire rod. Dude, good God! Now you got me doing it.
Oh wow! You berate me for calling it that. Okay,
I've been playing other things. Okay.
Dragon won't miss this entrance this time.
And now let's see if the curses come back.
We'll see if anything's in it.
He's switching. Nope.
Oh, this could be an item though. There is an item behind this bomb ball wall
that many people don't know about, Red, as well.
Yeah. Usually in the vanilla game, this is a heart piece.
The suspense, I think it was a heart piece as well. Because he just saved and quit right out of there. Magic rod.
Yeah, it's not a fire rod, it's a magic rod. It doesn't shoot fire, it shoots magic.
Oh wait, no one's checked Catfish's Maw yet, have they?
I don't think so, no.
That's another spot that it could be.
All of these vanilla dungeons are sort of like the worst spots things could be.
Because, I mean, you don't expect it to be at a dungeon, so you don't look at the dungeons.
And they're kind of out of the way as well. With the exception of Dungeon 3, that's like the least out of the way, but you still need the key for it.
You need to backtrack for that one too.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Dragon would be... Actually, he wouldn't even be go mode, even if he had the hook shot. He still needs a fire rod. The fire rod in all
there it is!
It's there. But, wow, okay, so this is bad because he doesn't have the hook shot now. He's completely missed it. And
he's gonna sit there wondering, where do I go? And then we can only hope that it comes back to him in like a fever dream sort of way.
I like what someone said in chat earlier. Thank God the estimate is so high.
Yeah, somebody's gonna finish this underestimate. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be Dragon or Spice.
I mean, this might be something that Sagas... Because I know Sagas likes checking the water section.
Yes.
He likes Jesus jumping.
To Saber, yes, I'm pretty sure they're all using a tracker. It's just not shown on here for, you know, space reasons.
And technical reasons.
It would be incredibly difficult to keep track of 4 trackers at once.
Oh, and, yeah.
I mean, I wonder where we could have had this discussion before.
Yeah, so they're all using trackers for like the entrance routing. This kind of randomized is very hard to do without a tracker. With all the entrances being randomized, you need to remember where all the entrances are in the game.
Almost photographic memory, honestly, was what it would take to do this without a tracker.
So Saga's going to do a weird type of Jesus jump, which allows him to screen scroll down into a thing.
And that is the way that he redid the routing for our standard any percent.
That's actually a speedrun thing that he did there.
And there we have the flame skip, because you don't need the mirror shield at all.
There is one situation where you would need the mirror shield, is if you had to do reverse flame,
Oh yeah.
which can. So,
And look at him doing a little dance. Look at Dragon doing a little dance with the tiles.
Yeah. So, as commentators and viewers, we all know where everything is now. We all know where every dungeon is. We all know where every item is, but the runners don't.
We have piecemeal across all of them. Really, if you could combine Dragon and Sagas or Geocob, you'd have a winning combo right there. But until they decide to go to Catfish's Maw, you have nothing.
Or Dungeon 1 for Dragon.
And Spice.
Yeah.
Windfish.io is the main tracker for this game.
I reckon what we're gonna see from Dragon now is I reckon we're gonna see him just clear every dungeon except for Dungeon 5 where he actually needs the hook shot.
And that's going to be a crying shame.
Because that means when he does find the hook shot, there's a lot less to do. But it might also depend on the routing of where dungeons are in the overworld. Now, he actually skipped a chest in this dungeon, which I'm presuming he did because he knows it can only be a stone beak, compass, or a map.
6, 7, 8. There we go.
Everyone loves those heads. Okay, so Dragon just needs compass left, and there was one chest that he missed.
So he's good. He can go clear the best boss in LADX.
Imagine this boss being replaced by Eagle.
Ugh.
That would be. I mean, it's basically what Save was saying earlier with boss shuffle, which might be a future thing for the rando.
Can we just get like Nightmare instead of every boss?
Can we have Blackout Nightmare as every boss?
Can we not?
So, the randomizer comes with some sort of like challenge mode settings as well as randomization. So, off the top of my head, there's obviously one hit KO. There's also randomized damage. There is fun %, which every pickup in the game is replaced by the same sprite. So you don't know what you picked up. You don't know what's in your inventory, except by using the colors.
I distinctly remember somebody picking up a lot of bracelets when they tried it.
Oh yeah, I had that one. And so there's also Blackout, which makes every dungeon, it makes the ground completely black. Also, Saga's doing a thing that skips a key block. That's actually pixel perfect.
And one day I will learn how to do it and actually be able to beat you in the runs.
I don't think that one thing is gonna give you that much time.
I mean, it only needs 6 minutes. That would imply that I've been practicing the rest of the game.
Oh, you mean in the main category?
Yes, in the main category. I'm not talking about beating you guys in rando. There's a reason why I'm commentating and not playing.
It's because he's too good. It wouldn't have been much of a race if Matt was racing.
Man, what is all this smoke around me? Good God.
It would be a race for second place if Matt was racing.
Yeah, it'd require everyone else to forfeit first.
And then there would still be a race for second place.
Be racing against my sleep schedule. And here goes Dragon with the magic rod, killing the eagle.
Because he can. Something surprised me. There's actually a quick kill with the fire rod that is only usable if you save and quit once in the run.
Really?
I'm surprised no one ever does this, and it's actually quicker than what Dragon did.
How does it work? I'm interested in this now.
You basically fire rod up and down instead of left and right, and for some reason the the eagle's sprite appears above Link at some point. I don't even know why that works. It only works if you save and quit as well.
See, you're saying these things, but it sounds like the moon glitch from Majora's Mask. That supposedly you can get to the moon from Snowhead. I don't believe you.
It's a strategy they used to use in No Wrong Warp and No Out of Bounds, the speedrun. Or in 100%, I think they used to use it.
Okay. A very choice execution of Super Jump there on Sagaz's screen.
Sagas loves his super jumps.
Now, here we go, checking.
This has no arrow.
Dragon. That's a shame.
Do any of them have Ocarina, come to think of it?
Nope.
I think some of I think someone has Ocarina. Sagas doesn't have Ocarina.
I don't believe I've seen an Ocarina yet. I can be wrong though. This requires somebody to pause.
He'll get arrows in this dungeon. But yeah, to defeat Deathel, you need bow, Ocarina, or Boomerang. Well, with Ocarina, you don't beat Deathel, you just skip him.
Nightmares. Let's just wake it up. Dragon might have Ocarina? Alright.
He might do, because he's got more items on his screen.
Yeah.
So, is Dragon now searching for the hook shot?
He's looking for the hook shot, which is going to take him forever, giving Saga so much time to catch up. Because eventually they're going to realize that they haven't gone to Catfish's Maw. I think Geocob just figured it out, actually. He's looking at his map going, where do I go? Oh, you know what else we forgot to say it was an entrance? The phone booth at the back of Kennewick Castle.
Oh yeah,
the one that you guys always forget.
That was a dungeon in this one. Can't remember which one.
Well, we're gonna find out right now on Spice's screen.
That is a dungeon.
Oh.
We have seen this. If it's Dungeon 4 there, that's actually hilarious because that would require trade sequence normally.
Ugh.
But that actually, I guess that requires sequence break if they don't want to do trade sequence. But I don't know where the other entrance leads to. It did require Feather, I believe.
No, it was D1 actually.
It was D1 is where the hook
was. Spice has realized his mistake.
Spice is in D1. Okay, so he might find hookshot. I think he will.
No, he's going straight for it. There is no might about it. He knows what he missed.
So he's recovering from his big mistake earlier. Let's see how long it takes Dragon to make that same recovery.
Alright, you can do it, Spice. I believe in you, man.
Spice is going to be kicking himself because that would have lost him a lot of time to find.
But you know who's going to be kicking himself even more?
Dragon.
Oh, no, he's heading directly away from Catfish's Maw in D6. I see what he's doing. He's checking each dungeon that he's been in to look for the hook shot.
What, Dragon?
Yeah.
Well, actually, he still has to clear Dungeon 3.
Oh, so he's just going to clear it then.
Yeah, he's clearing dungeons and searching them whilst he's there.
And now Spice going in D5 to clear it. Because now he has everything needed to just rush this as fast as he possibly can.
Does Spice even know where Dungeon 6 is yet?
No one...
I believe that's only Dragon.
No one has bothered to check Catfish Maw.
So Spice isn't... No one is Go mode at this point, and so we'll use the term world record sort of loosely. We do actually have a world record in terms of randos. Obviously, every seed's different. You can't just say like, oh, it's world record. But the quickest anyone's ever completed a rando is 58:59, I believe, and that's from Sagas. They're not even Go mode. in that time.
So someone has also pointed out that Spice would not even be go mode when he finds D6. He still needs to find D4 and get his flippers.
Oh yeah, so he can't even. Well, he can't even find D6. Well, you can sequence break D6 without flip. That's super.
You got it,
genius.
chat. You got this. You're gonna finish like 1 second before the runner who finishes first.
I'm actually interested as to what Green Tunic's time was.
But more about the screen that Spice is on. Here's another great boss, Wall Snake. So, if I'm remembering correctly, he can pop out of any one of those 4 holes in the wall, and it's random which one he comes out of, right?
Yep. But
And
there is a method that runners use both in rando and speedrun to eliminate the RNG, which you're seeing on Spice's screen.
And we mentioned earlier how there were sections where you did not want the piece of power. If you have knockback while fighting this particular boss, you get less hits in.
You have to 3-circle unless you're Zorlax.
In which case, you're just a god and you disappear from your community for months.
And then come back one day, just randomly post a world record and then leave again.
It's like dropping a mic in the room, honestly.
It really is.
Sagas is
okay.
Jesus jumping to Catfish. Here we go.
Sagas will find Dungeon 6. Where was Dungeon 4? Is Dragon the only one that's found Dungeon 4 at this point? No one else has flippers.
Yeah, because...
Wow.
Oh, man. That's...
Wow.
Sagas doesn't need flippers,
I mean,
please.
Sagas does need flippers because he can't beat the best boss in the game without it.
Oh, you mean Cravone?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a way you could just, like, take it.
No, the rando does not require this Jesus jumping.
No, this is him being absolutely insane.
Yeah, like, when we saw who was going to be racing in this, we like... First, okay, so I can explain about each of these runners. So, Jacob doesn't tend to like to sequence break. He tends to like to go the intended route. So, Dragon's basically the god at at randos, except when he forgets where Hookshot is. So, Dragon, I kind of feel like he doesn't use sequence breaks unless he has to. Sagas, on the other hand, is the one that would take the big risks with the sequence breaks.
And, it'll curse him by not giving him D4 and flippers, which we know and he doesn't. Oh, I've never seen that super jump before. That's interesting.
Yeah, so Sagas has super jumps in every room.
So this is a display of our best, our brightest, and our most unhinged runners in the community.
Well, we didn't describe Spice. Spice doesn't practice.
Spice plays
That's how
Metal
we're
Gear
going to describe
Solid.
him.
Well, I mean, he's like a Greek god in that sense, GT. Everybody has to have flaws. So now the big question is, where was D4, and has anybody passed right by it?
You know, thing I love about this rounder is like, there's never the same winner. Like, these runners are so even, and honestly, like, a lot of it's down to luck on if you take a gamble and whether it pays off or not, or if you decide to take a different route than the other, which honestly that route might not be any difference in terms of the chance that you're going to find something. If you simply take the route that someone else didn't, it puts you in an advantage. So these are very like even runners in terms of what they can end with. Like we won't know who's going to win until one of them is go mode.
I also want to mention to you specifically, Cravone, you said Jacob doesn't sequence break, and yet here we see him doing the same thing as Sagat.
Okay, yeah, he does sometimes.
Only when the game puts a gun to his head and forces him to.
He doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to clip into Dungeon 5.
That's unfortunate and absolutely understandable.
I didn't know this until I didn't know how to do this until earlier today when I was watching Sagas.
Honestly, what are the race flags that they're racing under right now? Shuffle and shuffle items, shuffle entrance, shuffle music, and shuffle color palette.
Yeah. So shuffle swords, shuffle entrances, shuffle items. Unique items can be anywhere. Shuffle music, short text, and shuffle palettes. If you have, yeah, Green Tunics just put the official flags up. So if you're interested in those are the flags that we race at.
We highly recommend not doing anything completely insane for your first run. Otherwise, you will burn out very fast. And speaking of burning out, we got Dragon beating Hothead.
You mean magicking out?
Hey, I didn't say fire. Okay, you can burn on magic.
What was that graphical glitch on Dragon's screen?
Oh,
I didn't see it for that long. It was like there for a split second.
The magic
I think I missed it. I don't know. I missed it. There was a graphical glitch there. Maybe check.
He's what? Oh man, he has Ocarina too.
So, if you are looking into sort of getting started with this, if you have no experience with this randomizer or like little experience with the game, I strongly advise do not have unique items can be anywhere. First of all, because that's going to make your first run just completely brutal. I'll say do a few items without that flag on, in which case there will always be one dungeon item per dungeon.
We can now officially say, though, that Sagas is in the lead because he's found D4 and he will find his flippers and have every item.
Yeah, so I guess Saga's go mode now.
He will be in like 45 seconds.
Yeah, he's as good as go mode. I can't see him missing that one chest.
And then he just walks right out. Now, here's the best question. Will the Zol body him too?
I don't think that's gonna happen again.
I'm kinda sad.
Oh, nice. He attempted a chest turn, but he failed and looked a bit stupid.
Oh, hey, what? I was supposed to open this, my bad.
I have to ask, why is he getting a second key? Oh yeah, Sagas is still missing the level 2 bracelet.
Where was that at again?
Can't actually... Oh, it was in Value Cave.
Oh.
It was in Value Cave, and I can't remember where that was on the entrance. On the overworld.
Spice has flippers now as well. So Spice appears to have caught up as well. I don't know if he has his level 2 bracelet though.
I mean, Dragon would have this if he found Hookshot.
No, Spice does not have his level 2 bracelet either, which means somebody really needs to find Value Cave soon.
Does Jacob even have his level 2 bracelet? I'll see next time he menus. He's got half a heart, maybe he should get more.
Maybe.
He's already checked that.
You guys, you're supposed to cross out the things on your trackers with an X.
Sagas has got... We're quite far behind. I'm going to refresh again.
Oh dear.
But we knew he was going to find that, since we already saw Dragon find him in that position.
What is Geocob doing? Is he wondering where he has to go? Is he freaking out?
I can imagine what he would be saying if he was on Discord right now.
I mean, I don't think we have to imagine. We can pretty much read him word for word.
He'll be like, I'm so lost. Don't know where to go.
Oh, man. So really, if Dragon finds where he left the hook shot, he'll have this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if either Spice or...
Spice finding level 2 bracelet.
Spice now is go mode.
Okay, so
believe.
Spice is go mode.
Spice, our hero, the one who we deserve, not the one we need.
The underdog.
The champion.
The guy that doesn't practice.
Slasher percent, here we go.
He might actually win this.
Oh, baby. And no, he just walks right away from Eagle's Tower. He's like, no, I don't want this.
No, there's actually a reason why he does that. There's a potential glitch that can happen when you open that and don't exit the screen before going in, where it will actually give you a false entrance. That's a glitch that we know about.
Yeah, but in order to find D6, he just has to go to Catfish's Mall, which is blatantly obvious on the map.
It's the one easy place to still
It's
go.
the giant black spot in the middle of the screen.
It's the only easy place left to go.
And Saga is running back to D5 now. And I believe he will be able to finish this right now as well?
Saga's, yeah, he'll be able to finish this. I think 4 Sword on B would be a good.
Sword on A is what all true heroes strive for, though. Saga is, why are you getting the key?
B. I play with Sword on B normally.
Animals.
I'm what some people would call a heathen.
Bunch of savages. Also, we really don't want to touch Myron over on Spice Father's screen because that triggers what, a 40-second cutscene? 45? It's a long cutscene, and we really don't want to.
Not on Randa. No,
Oh.
it
just walks off the screen then.
it's about 5 seconds on Rando because we have short text.
Old habits die hard.
But yeah, if you do
Oh,
that in a normal speed run, it's
oh.
a minute.
Dragon's gone back to D1.
Wow, they're actually realizing their mistakes much quicker than I thought I would.
They're learning, adapting even. Which means Dragon will
Unless
be
they're
go mode
using-
if this happens.
Unless they're using their tracker properly. Which they might be. They might realize they've still got a chest left.
Dragon, just go around, don't be fancy. And he has it, he's go mode. He knows where all the dungeons are and he has all the items.
Okay, so we might see a showdown between Dragon and Saga. Actually, no, Dragon has got one dungeon left, one instrument left.
Yeah. And he knows where it's at, which means he's going for it.
I think we're going to see Dragon win this. I mean, Saga still has 3 instruments left to do. I'm trying to find something to commentate on Jacob, but it's like he's finally found Dungeon 4.
You can do it, Jacob. You can make it to that chest. Come on, jump, buddy, jump.
Just try the other chest first.
Yeah, you did it. Now just walk up and go get your flippers as the reward.
Spice opening Dungeon 6 and finding the fairy fountain. It's the best thing you want to see. That's the last thing you want to see, honestly, when you open the dungeon.
I was about to say, the best thing you could see is somebody freaking out because they finally found D6.
No, the best thing is when it's a last entrance, someone has to check, and they have one dungeon left, and they know the dungeon is in that place. They open it, they go in, and it's a phone box.
Yes.
That is the best.
All of the yes. Oh, Dragon forgot the nightmare key. He has to go back to the start of the dungeon to get it!
People have done that before. Multiple times in that very dungeon.
And he has it! There we go!
So, in all of this, I still don't know where Dungeon 4 is, so I'm hoping I'm gonna see when Jacob comes out the dungeon where it was.
We're watching carefully on Jacob's screen now, because
He's
we
gonna.
really want to know where G4 is.
I bet you he's gonna house swap.
Not fast enough.
It was there. Damn.
I hate that entrance.
I don't know what led there. Okay, so that I think that was Telltale Heights that led there.
Ugh.
Yeah. Okay, that's not too bad an entrance. That is down a rabbit hole, which might not be everyone's first choice in terms of routing, though.
And we see over on our little personal chats, Jacob asking, "Is anyone finished? Can we stop?" Don't worry, buddy. Your pain will soon be over.
Well, we have two
Oh,
people. That
oh,
are close to
please.
finish.
Please let Dragon die to Wall Snake. That's all I want. Please, just hit
We
it
want
right
him
in
to-
the face.
Wow, that was close.
Darn.
The worst thing there would have been if he walked into the snake whilst he was
Well,
slashing
the
it.
worst thing that would have happened there is if Wall Snake came out to give him a nice big kiss.
That only happens when they've taken 7 hits of damage.
And it looks like Spice is now go mode, but it's all for naught, as Dragon was there several minutes beforehand. But hey, you can at least say he beat Sagas, probably.
Unless he forgets where a dungeon is.
I would hope that
I'd hope these runners don't do that.
I would hope that they don't be me or you and actually mark their maps.
Jacob's just running around in circles to start a dungeon 5. What's he missing at this point?
Do not know actually. He's probably
He might
missing
be-
Fire
He's missing dungeon 6.
because you know you can't
Yeah,
really.
He
go
didn't know
that
how to
way
do
in
the
a
glitch.
Yeah.
He has flippers now.
Oh, I think Dragon's running for the egg.
Yep.
And now
So-
declare bomb flute for the last time, really.
So Space is actually also calling Go mode.
Spice.
Spice.
I'm not gonna stop correcting you.
Yeah, I have to apologize for that. I keep calling Spice Father Space Otter because that's what his other name is that we know him by. So it's out of habit.
And now we see the bomb flute being played on Dragon's screen, opening up that legendary egg. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but when you go into the egg, it's a giant maze of entrances in order to get to the final fight with Nightmare and Deathel. But if you don't ever complete the side quest and look at the book that tells you the path to get to the fight, it will always be the same.
It will always
what
be
is
a
it?
default.
It will be left, what? What's happening on Saga's screen there?
He's going towards Dungeon 6.
Oh no, I see what's happening. It's encoding on my part. But it's what? Left, up, right, up. Left,
Imagine
left,
if
up,
this code was
right,
randomized.
No, God, no. Ugh. Ugh.
That would basically require the trade sequence.
I would hurt somebody. I'd record something to burst their eardrums.
Oh, that's harsh.
It's harsh to sit me there for like an hour trying to figure out how to get through that.
Well, no, like what you do is that the book would change to tell you the correct passage.
I mean,
So
when
you
you
would
interact
actually
with it?
need the magnifying glass,
Aw.
which
Doing the trade
means
sequences. Aw.
You can actually bomb trigger one part of the trade
Saber,
sequence.
no. Don't do it. Don't do
Yes,
it, Saber.
Yes, record
No.
the lens and the library.
Don't listen to
book.
this lunatic.
Also, add boomerang logic in.
No, stop. Stop with these things.
Well,
Okay,
okay,
so-
okay. Dragon just missed a yellow ball.
Oh dear. So we should mention that the nightmare fight at the end of the game is comprised of multiple other bosses in the game. First of all, it is a blob that you need powder or mushroom to kill. Then it's a copy of Aghanim from Link to the Past, who shoots out balls, except that The difference between this Aghanim and the Link to the Past Aghanim is when he gets to the point of you need one last ball to hit him, it is 50-50 whether or not he shoots out the ball that'll actually damage him.
And it's uncapped.
It's uncapped, which means you could go forever without getting the right type of projectile to damage him.
There is a tied world record on blue balls, 17. And yeah, it's tied. That's how bad it is.
So after that is what, Ganon? Is it Ganon or is it Moldorm?
Moldorm and then Ganon. And
the difference between this Moldorm and the Moldorm and earlier in the game is that this one takes 14 hits to kill, but there is a way that
16.
you can 16.
Yeah, it's 16.
But there is a way to lock him in place using a spin slash, just like you saw there, and just repeatedly attack him so he doesn't move.
So, are we going to see Dragon go for death or skip?
I hope not. I want to see the Deathel fight.
Okay, he's gone for death or skip. I think he might be framed too late there. He's map buffering because the next bat that's gonna fly at him has actually activated on one of his pauses. Which means 7 map buffers after, he can play the Ocarina and freeze in place, because that's 28 frames. And so what this does is that when Deathel spawns, it takes the health of... It takes every sprite on the screen that's an enemy. And the bat has 0 health, so as soon as Deathel spawns off the bat, like, it's instantly dead.
We may also say done.
Yeah, Dragon has finished. So...
unfortunate, really, because I really like the Deathel fight. As much as people give it garbage for the eye not opening, I really like that fight.
We might see it on What News.
Maybe. How to win at Rando 101. Forget a chest, explore everything.
Yeah, and don't die to that one Zol in Dungeon 4.
Don't get bodied.
And don't miss a blue ball. No, don't miss a yellow ball.
I mean, they're supposed to be blue.
That Zol, wow, that was the best Zol I've ever seen. Okay,
Champion Zol for our people.
So, I think Spice is going for the aggro now.
Yeah, he's heading up to go finish his as well. He's gonna get second place, which means he beats Sagas.
I think Saga's gonna get third and Jacob. I think Jacob must be in go mode by now.
I would hope so.
So
I mean, he's in D6, which means he's found the magic rod. He has his level 2 bracelet. He's good to go. He just needs to finish his dungeons. And speaking of finishing dungeons, there's Sagas getting his Thunder Drum from D8.
I have to say, I have to commend Dragon and Spice for being the 2 people that made the biggest mistakes in this random.
And
they
they learned.
First and second.
And they learned, and they went back to remedy their mistakes.
I'm not sure where Sagas has lost this.
Routing, probably.
I mean, I think it's like he just couldn't find Dungeon 6. He waited too long to check that entrance.
Yeah.
Jacob just didn't find Dungeon 4 quick enough either.
I mean, what can you have? What else can you do?
Oh, I'm seeing Dragon asking what Spice forgot.
I wonder what Spice forgot, Dragon.
The same thing as you.
I wonder what he forgot, huh?
Yeah, so...
Oh no! Saga's going straight for the egg too. as
Okay, so this
Spice
could come
enters
down
the
to-
second phase of the Nightmare fight, it could be blue balls.
Yeah, this could come down to RNG. And there's a lot of RNG on this fight, but I have
Here's
to
the
say,
question.
Spice is over a minute ahead, so
Here's the question though: does Spice know how to do Ocarina Death'll Skip? Because I'm pretty sure Sagas knows.
if Sagas doesn't get it first try, Spice might actually save time on Deathel if he gets good RNG.
But
Over
geez,
doing
that eye
Death'll
doesn't
Skip.
work for anybody.
I think Sagas will be doing Deathel Skip. In fact, I'm certain on it.
And here comes Moldorm on Spice. Man, this might actually be pretty close.
Yeah. Dragon actually brings up a very valid point that we if Hookshot had locked stuff out, if there was an item locked behind Hookshot, that could have caused a big problem for those two runners.
That would have been a long time waiting.
Yeah.
And here we go with the Death'll fight on Spice Father. My personal favorite fight in the game, actually. You have to wait until the eye opens up, and then you shoot Death'll as much as you can while that eye is open, and he does a lot of damage when he hits you with his arms. I will say, though, that I think Spice is going to take second.
So Saga's doing the entirely pointless tech skip.
So when you get into the Nightmare fight, there is a wall of texts that you have to deal with before you can actually start the fight. And if you do a bomb trigger as you're falling into that room, right, it skips the text.
But in these flags we have short text.
So
It's one text box.
yeah. And all of our runners are now at the egg in some capacity. Spice has now beaten Deathel, and he has received second place for his troubles. Also, we should mention that a side effect of the tech skip that we just talked about is that you won't have any music until you reach Deathel, which
So Jacob also opened the egg. All four runners are going to finish 10 minutes apart.
I mean, not
within
even
10
10 minutes.
minutes.
I'd say like 8. I think.
Yeah, I mean, so Jacob did actually have the lead at one point.
They all had
When-
the lead at some point.
Yeah, when Jacob had early sword, and he found Dungeon 5, he actually gained quite a bit of time over everyone else. And I believe he was the first one to have bracelet, boots, and feather.
And
But
look
then he lost that advantage by, well, I guess just poor routing.
look at good sports Spice. It was really close.
He could have put a different meme up there.
I mean, you don't need any different memes. Oh wait, we got Dragon sending some kind of message from beyond the grave.
So we have Sagas doing Death or Skip. I think he got it first time. So he will come in third, and Jacob will finish fourth.
And there's third place for Sagas.
Yeah, I want to say Dungeon 4, or Dungeon 4, Dungeon 6, and Hookshot were the difference makers in this race. The race was won and lost in those instances.
I mean, imagine if they had found Hookshot the first pass through.
Yeah, if Spice had found it first, he
He
would have
would've-
won this by about maybe 10 minutes.
It would have been a mile. And now we're seeing the true terror of Aghanim over on Geocop's screen. And he's down, which means he progresses to... Oh god, I'm forgetting the names of everything. This is awful. Moldorm, that's it. And it looks like he's going for Ocarina Skip too. Or Death'll Skip. I'm losing my mind.
So now that we're sort of coming to the end of this race, if anyone's interested in playing this randomizer, I definitely urge you to give it a go. It can seem quite tough at this, like, to begin with, but when you do more and more, you'll start doing better.
There's a
And
message for you on Spice's screen.
it's really, really, it's really, really fun. If you do start, maybe the best flags would be the standard flags. Like on the randomizer, there's a standard button. And Jacob is finished. So
And that's all four
that's
of our
time,
runners
yeah.
done. That's underestimate, isn't it? Wasn't the estimate 2
Yeah,
hours?
it's 17 minutes underestimate.
So, we might as well plug the LADX Discord. We run randos pretty much every day. You'll get to run with these guys. Don't be intimidated. They'll help you out, even if there is a little bit of chiding for you missing a certain entrance.
Yeah, it's all banter.
It's all
also
banter.
this-
We're a friendly bunch of people.
It's also the speedrunning Discord as well.
So if
So-
you guys want to pick up, I don't know, the any percent, the 100%, the 100% routes, you'll be able to, pick everything up.
Yeah.
It's a one-stop shop for this game, really.
So, next off this race is Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. So, guess we sign off now, don't we?
I mean, I suppose so.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching. This was LADX Rando, as presented by Dragon CEO, Geocob, Sagas 14, and Spice Father, not Space Otter. We hope you had a wonderful time watching. We hope you learned something, and if you pick up a new speed game, we'll be happy to have you.
Yeah, ask anything in our Discord. Everyone will help you out.